It's like I'm being dad all over again. It's so funny. So Devin introduced us. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. It makes a difference to actually know someone's in your corner to allow me to actually be on in the conversation in this manner.
Yeah.
When we have, I get present to it every time I hang out with Devin and really anybody with the crew. There's like 5 of us right now that come together every Saturday and we just create together and trying to figure all of that out. And there's been so many times where Devin's like, I got this. Because I'm just so used to moving it forward, all of it, right? Like just this, the conversation earlier is all a byproduct of that. It's like, oh, well, if it's not going to be done, I'll do it. I'll just move it forward. Right. And to know that it's another muscle to build and strengthen that, to actually rely on others, that takes something.
It does.
Yeah.
We carry a lot, and not to diminish the other half of the relationship, but in my experience, the problem with men is we tend to always take it all on our own and not ask for help, and that's part of many things that I'm up to changing and leading by example. And it is happening on both sides, right? Like you're either checked out, and this is part of the bigger problem. You're either checked out, not feeling like you have a voice or that you could possibly contribute in any way because I don't know, or I don't understand, or whatever it is that stops us, or we take it all on.
There's no happy medium.
There isn't. No. Men are, and I only say men because I don't know women. Right. I'm not a woman.
Right.
We are masters of extremes. It's the perfect shitstorm that is being a human being, right?
True.
Yeah. And the perfect segue to a conversation that I believe is, and Richard, I'm sure you would echo this.
Yeah.
It's the underpinning driver of what doesn't work.
Right.
What has us feeling disconnected in our own ways, whether you're a man or a woman. I can't imagine anymore, because I can still imagine it, but I choose not to, because it doesn't serve me, really. But the way I operated before I started to be more aware, I wouldn't. There's nothing there that has me feel excited about life.
It's kind of hollow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's super automatic.
Yes, automatic.
And very, very confusing, and there's no energy there. And that's, from my perspective, that's like, if you're there, that just means you've got some digging, some more digging to do. Like, you're not there yet. You haven't. And that's part of the game. Ravin, when he was on the podcast, I really loved when he talked about that we're not in it alone. We are in the cycle of, there are moments where it seems good and life's good and we got good people around us, and then there are other moments where it's a chaotic storm and you're super negative and you're feeling bad about yourself and about your situation and what's the point and why bother, and that is the game. If Dad says you should do X, how do you feel about that?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Are you lit up and excited by that idea?
Right.
Then it's probably worth exploring. Do you feel like a burden and a weight?
Yeah.
And a feeling of obligation?
Well, and that's it. That's right.
Then you should probably keep looking.
Yeah.
And tell your dad to.
But that's the hard part.
Oh, I know. I get it.
That's the hard part.
Oh, well, and then there's that. I like to call it healthy anxiety.
Yeah.
There's this fear, like I couldn't do that. No, I have no idea. I couldn't possibly. I don't know. I don't understand. But yet there is something about it, and you think about it. But there is like this fear of diving in because the uncertainty of it all. And those are also indicators that it's something worth pursuing as well. If you are committed, like when somebody talks about construction as a trade, as a career, and you're like a full stop no, I couldn't even see myself there, you probably shouldn't. But dad's done it, and dad's done it. It's very obligatory that I should follow in those footsteps. You probably shouldn't follow in those footsteps. However, if you think about it and you're obsessed with not knowing how to the practice of building things, but there's a curiosity around it, but then there's a fear that's kind of like, yeah, but I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know if I could ever build something. So that's what you should probably start to explore more. The people that repaired my deck last spring is a prime example of the shit show that is doing something begrudgingly because you have to, or for whatever reason, and how incomplete it must have felt them, like they must have felt, because I sure felt incomplete, right? Versus someone who you just can't, you're compelled to watch them because they just do such great work. Isn't it fascinating? How those ways of being that, again, to your point, we discount, we think everybody shows up that way. And then when it gets echoed back to us, we are genuinely surprised by it. That part fascinates me. I deal with it for myself on a regular basis. I did an exercise not too long ago. Reached out to about 30 people of various degrees of relationship to me, and I sent basically a survey for them to answer about what they knew about me in all sorts of little areas. And I do that on a regular basis to recalibrate and remind myself of who I know myself to be, or who I'm striving towards, and to see now how does that land in the world around me. And I'm still surprised by it. Like, I do it intentionally to get that feedback, and I'm still surprised by it. That's an opportunity for all of us.
Totally.
To courageously step into the uncertainty of other people's opinions of you. And like, do the Titanic, right? If I were to put a cheesy visual in your head, like just surrender yourself to it. And you'll become bigger and grow from it.
Oh, totally. You will grow.
Now, caveat that, of course, with having sent that information to the right people.
Of course.
Because there are some people that do not need to be asked that question.
True.
That is one of the hardest things a person has to do. When I think back, so I highly religious upbringing, and the people around me were very predictably focused, and that was my world. Not that there was anything wrong with it either, but then you share the parallels between those that. I think back to the first person that comes up in my mind is the man who murdered my brother. And he shared his story in the courtroom. I was the only one there representing my family for that session. His core group, those 5, 6, 7 people that were around him for his whole life, I would not wish on my worst enemies. And you get what you put into. You get what you're influenced by. Who is that core group around you? And because they will help you steer your ship, whether you are aware of it or not. It's a new awareness. So he was not aware. There was not something for him to contrast his life and his experience and what was going on to be like, no, this feels better. I want this. And maybe it was there, and I'm just making assumptions. But if for anybody speaking, this is now to your point earlier that the voice is there, but it's quiet, and you don't hear it. But it is trying to tell you something, and it's smart. It's tapped in.
We are smart, right?
Yeah.
All of us are about ourselves.
We're so connected.
We are.
And we actually already have the answer. It's just whether we're willing
That's right.
to journey forth into something completely unfamiliar to keep going. There's something around us in any moment that we are curious about.
Yes.
And then the automatic nature of human being just dismisses it.
Yeah.
And it goes away, and it's out into oblivion again.
Yes.
So this notion of paying more attention and listening more and listening to what the voice is has those I mean, we're talking about it all the time. We're curious about everything. This is why we are, good or bad, in the state we are as human beings. Like we've evolved and we've accomplished a lot, and we've done some stupid things, and we continue to go on that journey because we are curious about a lot of things.
And if we weren't curious, we would not have as many advances as we have today.
No, we wouldn't have as many problems either, I suspect. But then, that is what it is.
Right.
So embracing the curiosity of how, and being grateful for having been given the ability to have conscious thought and choice in the matter. I mean, these are things that we just don't even consider on a daily basis, right? What a great place to be.
Yeah.
And it takes something to stay on the path. But I'm reminded because I have systems and structures in place. So I'm an anomaly on many fronts in that I'm highly creative. I really started my journey as a creator, as a designer, as someone who wanted to create things meaningful for people visually. And then through this whole journey saw the need to do it with purpose. That it has to have some sort of so what? Yeah, we're doing this, but so what? Why does it matter? And what are we channeling? What's the point of it? And so this drive to have system and structure to support the creative process just became part of my operating system. But I'm constantly ebbing and flowing between being super creative and just freedom, right? Complete freedom to create, and then bringing in the structures to support it, to move it to a certain objective. Right. And that's been my what really makes the difference in my everyday is there are many times I don't want to do it anymore. It's taking too long. It should have arrived. Like all of these unrealistic expectations driven by culture and society and the Instagram world, and I should have had it already. Based on what? We're not fucking sure, but okay. And then we just keep on going. But then these structures, when I use them, and I take some time and I reflect and I use complete what I'm intending to complete for the day, I get reconnected to the bigger driving force. If I were to stop the system and structure, I would stop my ability to create. And if I were to just focus on being highly systemized and structured and not be creative, there would be no excitement.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's the perfect dichotomy, the balancing of these two. It's like water and oil, but they're like gelling.
It is so contagious. All people have to do is show up on January 25th and find out what we're talking about.
Hands down. Devin, tell us more about what that means.
In January, the first ever Day on Purpose conference will be happening here in Calgary. A Day on Purpose is bringing together a fantastic community of speakers and presenters, people like you and me at various stages of uncovering their own purpose. It will be a day of stories and discovery that will work to make a very high level and at times hard to understand topic relatable and uncomplicated. You are brave enough to start the journey, and we'd love for you to join us.